All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday, June 29th. We got a full MLB slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, we're going to go through each and every one of these games. I'm going to give you my lean on the side. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye on the pinned comment of this video. That is where all of my final plays, if you do want to roll with me. If you do want to fade me, all those plays are going to be in the pinned comment. Yesterday, a decent night, a 3-2 night, but one of the losses being a quarter unit loss. So I do like the fact that that was one of our losses, really just losing that 1 1/4 units and picking up 3 full wins, full unit plays. So yeah, shout out to the same game parlay there in the Phillies and Marlins game. Then we had Jake Berger under in bases. He was in that same game. We didn't put him in the same game parlay, but would have been nice if we did. And then the first 5 under 4.5 for the Nats and Rays. They stayed under that. They stayed under that for the entire game. So we shall take it. And then our losses: Dodgers money line. If you watch back yesterday's video, I was kind of on the fence about that, but figured, you know what, screw it, let's roll with the Dodgers because they had such a good price. And then that parlay, again, quarter unit play, not too mad about yesterday overall. What we can be mad about is I feel like, guys, I could be wrong, but I feel like we're going down a little bit of a bad stretch here with the ride of the day. Dropping a womp womp. Mark, an OG of the channel, absolutely a ride of the day like casher in the past, but this one does not come through. Freddie Freeman, even look at the rationale. 452 against Webb, 337 batting at, like, man, oh man, he goes 0 for 4. So something about our total bases plays when we ride have not been all that great. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, we pick one person in the comment that uses hashtag ride of the day or hashtag ROTD. Jump on board with them, and then we give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you lose, we got to talk about it like we just did, right? If you win, we celebrate, we have a good time, and we ride with you again for the next day, the following day. So go ahead and get those hashtag ride of the days in. Shout out to Mark for another attempt. Again, a ride of the day slayer usually. This one did not come through, but maybe I'm the jinx in the pudding. Is that a saying? Because maybe that's the case. But let's go ahead and jump into today's games, guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I know it sounds cliche and corny when I say that you guys keep running up the likes and all that on the previous videos, but you truly are. So let's see if we can get a bunch of likes in today's video. Let's have a good weekend. Hopefully everyone's Friday was pretty good to start the weekend. But let's go ahead and jump into it here. We got the White Sox taking on the Rockies. I think you're a psychopath if you have like a strong opinion on this one, you know what I mean? But on the mound, you got Cannon going for the White Sox, going up against Quantrill. Cannon's actually been decent and serviceable at home, which is almost where my, I guess, I want to say where my research, that's not really true, but where my research would stop in this game, because every other part of this game smells like a thing that stinks on the side of the road, yet Cannon, maybe there's a little bit of a bright spot at home, and he's going up against 5 righties, I believe, which that's his good side to pitch against. White Sox are pass for me in this one. It's probably going to be a pass. They won, 5-3 yesterday? I think it's something similar like that, so I'll also lean slightly towards the under, but yeah, kind of moved quick through this one because it's the White Sox and Rockies. I don't think this is the best game on the board, and there's a full slate here. I think there's some better spots that we can kind of take a peek at. Next up, we have St. Louis taking on the Reds here. The odds make sense when you look at the pitching. You get Sonny Gray on the mound for St. Louis, going up against Carson Spears for Cincinnati. Gray's obviously having a really good year, and he's been even better at home, which is where he is today. The offenses I would still put into the same bucket. Really weird series so far. 11-4 win for Cincinnati in Game 1, and then 1-0 win for St. Louis yesterday, so who knows how many runs are going to be scored in this game. The one thing I am hoping to be sure of, and I say hoping to be sure, is the fact that Sonny Gray can go out there and pitch really well. This isn't a very tough offense in the Reds, right? They scored 0 runs yesterday. But Gray is having, like I said, a very good year and a very good year at home. So I think the way that I would play this is kind of going team total oriented. Maybe I go St. Louis money line with Cincinnati under 4.5 and some sort of a parlay or something. Because essentially what I'm doing there is just betting Gray has a nice day. No rhyme. I mean, I did rhyme, but not intentionally. Poet, and I didn't know it. And then also the Reds kind of don't get to him, and St. Louis gets their money line play as well. So we kind of did with the Phillies yesterday, right? They win 2-0. I'm glad I didn't do like over 2.5 runs for them and money line, but I think we have hopefully found a little strategy here when we want to take some of these favorites, do a same game parlay of taking them on the money line, sure, but then also betting on the better pitcher and saying, hey, under 4.5, 5.5 runs for the Reds, which would never be a straight play, but because it's in a parlay, could kind of help out. So I think that's how I'm going to play this one. That's a mix of, I would say, the money line and the total overall. I don't know where to come out on the total in this game in general, but I do think that Gray, like I'm saying, has a decent day. So I would say team total under for the Reds could be a straight play as well. But I think I'm going to be leaning towards that sort of same game parlay. All right, guys, we're taking a break from the show here just so I could talk to you about Sleeper. If you have not checked out Sleeper yet, you are absolutely missing out. And people that have checked it out know that I'm saying that, as a matter of fact. Like, I love this app. It's my favorite player prop app out there. If you have not checked it out, I have a link in the pinned comment. You're going to get 100% of your first deposit matched. You're also going to get, see on the right side of your screen, a Pablo Lopez squared today, 0.5 strikeouts. I think he'll strike one guy out. Go check out Sleeper, guys. If you don't know what it is, all you have to do is combine 2 or more player props into a slip on the app. The more you win out of those, the more you get paid out. It's pretty damn cool. And each and every play you throw in changes the payout in a dynamic way. So it doesn't just follow the fixed payout structure like all the other apps out there. 2 for 2 is 3x, 3 for 3 is blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Each and every play has its own odds, for lack of a better term, on this app. Go check it out. If Sleeper's available in your state and you have not checked it out yet, wake up. Quit sleeping on Sleeper. Go check it out, guys. That link is in the pinned comment. Again, this is my favorite DFS app out there right now. Easy for me to tell you guys to go check it out because I am 100% confident you'll like the app. They have more lines, more plays available. They have alternate lines as well. Pretty damn cool. Go ahead and check it out. That link is in the pinned comment. It's going to get you all the goodies. You're going to get the first deposit match. You're going to get the free square, all that good stuff just by clicking that link. Go ahead and check it out. Now let's jump back into the rest of these games here. Toronto taking on the Yanks. I am kind of kicking myself here because I parlayed the Yankees and Astros yesterday, and I also wanted to take them as single bets, and I almost ended up just taking the Yankees because they ended up being, I think they closed like plus money, right? So I almost pulled trigger on Yankees money line plus money. They win 16-5. Their offense finally kind of kicked it back into gear. So like I said, I'm kind of kicking myself for that one, but we had a positive night yesterday. Can't cry over spilled milk, whatever the hell the saying is. In this spot, I'm going to go right back to it. The odds aren't nearly as juicy as they were yesterday, but you're still getting a Yankees team at minus 125, and I do believe in that offense. They're going up against Chris Bassett today, who stinks, I would say, and Nestor Cortez, who's been really bad on the road, but this Toronto team has really struggled against lefties. So overall, I think it's another decent spot to take the Yankees. I get it if people are like, I've seen it in the comments, right? The Yankees are on the do not bet list. They've lost 8 of their last 10. Something like that, right? But so has Toronto. So I think you're getting the better bats, the better pitcher, and definitely the better bullpen at a decent price today. And what's crazy is that Bassett throws the sinker 50% of the time. That's his main pitch, right? The Yankees are the best team in the league at hitting sinkers. So I think it's a good spot to take the Yankees at minus 120 yet again today. I just kicking myself for not taking them yesterday. When it comes to the total here in this one, I think this stays around 8 to 7 runs, so I'm going to lean towards the under, but it's nothing that I'm like in love with, right? I think I'm much more inclined to pulling trigger here on the Yankees money line and then saying, you know what, that's all we got in it, go do it. The Bronx Bombers. All right, next up, Philly taking on Miami. One of our casters yesterday, the same game parlay, and I do think that I might kind of go into some sort of a same sort of mindset for this one here. I could see myself somehow working in Philly money line mixed with, yesterday we did the under for Miami's team total, but I might go Philly over like 2.5, 3.5 runs, something like that. See what we can get odds-wise. Just due to the fact that I think Philly wins this game. They have Aaron Nola on the mound, going up against Roddy Munoz. We call him Frankie Muniz in the business. And there's just such a discrepancy pitching-wise, bullpen-wise, hitting-wise. Like, there's no real spin to get to Miami here, but you can't play Philly just straight up with those minus 250 odds. You know what I mean? So keep an eye on the pinned comment. I think we'll try and work something in like that. Maybe it is just the Philly team total over in general. I think they get to 5 runs today, so maybe we don't even need to worry about the same game parlay, but some way, somehow, I think I want to get to Phillies today. They've been the most profitable team for us this season as well, so I feel like I got to go in that direction. But with that being said, if I think Phillies are going to score runs, I'm also going to lean towards the over. Not that I think Aaron Nola is going to get rocked. I think he could have a decent night. Decent day, I should say. But I don't think Roddy Munoz is going to be a very good serviceable guy today. I think that the Phillies are going to get to him early and often. So give me Phillies team total over, but I also like them in some sort of same game parlay where maybe we bring that team total over down and also roll with money line and get some good odds with it. Red Sox taking on the Padres. If you watched back yesterday, it was kind of interesting. I did lean Red Sox. They lost, obviously, 9-2. They got smoked, but I said I almost hope they lose so that we can get a good odds today, and I do think getting them at -1, it's on the screen, it says -142, but you can get the Red Sox right now at -135 on DraftKings. I think that's the move. This is a Padres team that is hot, so I get it if you want to roll with them because they're plus money and the bats are working and all that. But Tanner Houck's in the mound for the Red Sox, and that's the time to bet the Red Sox, or maybe, fading another team, taking Padres team total under, something like that. It could be kind of crazy. It could be like, yeah, you don't want to get in front of what the Padres are doing right now. They've won, I think, 8 of their last 10 games. They've won 4 straight. I understand. But overall, like, Tanner Houck on the mound for the Sox, it's probably the move for me here. I think you're getting a good price for a guy that's Cy Young candidate type thing. And on the mound for the Padres is going to be Michael King, who is really, he actually was on a little bit of a tear. I'll give him credit, but nothing that I'm going to sit here and be like, oh my God, like the Red Sox be shaking in their boots going up against them. I don't see it. So I think it's such a pitching advantage for the Red Sox. The bats, I hope, can kind of do more than they did yesterday because this Padres offense is cooking. I'll tell you that right now. But overall, I think I'm going to lean towards the Red Sox money line and then maybe a slight lean towards the under. Just, again, I think this Padres lineup is cooking. I'm giving them credit, but I'm really backing Tanner Houck here. Maybe we look at his player props with his innings or something like that as well. So keep an eye on the pinned comment. There could be some plays out of this game for sure. Kansas City taking on Cleveland. Kansas City winning 10-3 yesterday. They won 2-1 in game number 1. And I do think that this could fall back into Cleveland's spot here. I believe it's a 4-game series, so this is not necessarily the end of it. So it's not like, oh, they're avoiding a sweep by today or anything like that. But I do think that Cleveland wins this one, and I'll tell you why. I think they have the better offense. I think that they have the better bullpen, and potentially a better pitching spot here. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say Cole Reagans is definitely worse than Tanner Bybee or anything like that, right? But to the degree that we have for the splits here, Reagan's, not that great against lefties, decent against righties, kind of a mixed bag here. It's like 5-4, I want to say, between lefties and righties in that Cleveland lineup. So you don't really have that much of an edge there. But on the Cleveland side of things, I like the fact that Bybee's going up against a bunch of righties today. I think he has 6 righties in the lineup, which is where he really does perform. So it's that nitty gritty, and I admit it, but I do think you have, a pitching matchup and a little bit of an edge here. I do believe Cleveland has a better offense as well as a better bullpen. So to me, the fact they lost 2 games almost helps it. You're getting better odds. You're walking right into this one, being able to take the Guardians at, what do we have for odds right now? Best odds available out there right now, -102. So I think that's going to be the move for me today. In terms of the total, I'm going to lean towards the under because I think either pitcher could go out there and have a good day. Forget what I'm saying about Cleveland and me liking the money line. If we put these picks in a vacuum, I think Reagans could have some stuff against the Guardians today as well. So I think it's a 4-3 game, no matter which side ends up winning. I hope it's the Guardians because I think I'm going to go Cleveland and the under. All right, the Cubs, I don't know where to come out on, okay? We got Milwaukee taking on Chicago. I want to get to the Cubs today because I do think Justin Steele is obviously a very good pitcher. I think that he could kind of suppress the Brewers' offense. Going up against Tobias Myers, who isn't like a really scary type pitcher in my mind, so I am a little bit torn in this one. You have Steele, who has about 100 plate appearances against, decent numbers against his Brewers roster, which is good to see. But again, this Brewers team is definitely the better offense. They definitely have the better bullpen, and then it's like, well, is Justin Steele that much of an advantage to suppress those other things? Potentially. I'm going to lean towards the Cubs here, but I do get either side. I think you're getting a really good Brewers price at -108 if you like, the Brewers today because Justin Steele's on the mound. They're still the better team, but I'm going to go with the better pitcher in this one. Give me the Cubs for +100 odds on the money line. I also like the slight lean towards the under. Similar to what we just talked about, I think like a 4-3 game, something like that. I'm really banking on Justin Steele being able to pitch well today. That's kind of going to be a need to happen if these bets work out. All right, Atlanta taking on Pittsburgh. I think this is decently interesting, honestly. You have Max Fried on the mound on the Braves here. And then on the mound for the Padres is going to be Paul Skeens, who's obviously been very, very good. Both these pitchers actually have been pitching well as of late, so I'm kind of torn here. I think the way that I end up playing this is backing both pitchers. First 5 under, as well as a potential play for the Nerfy today. And those are my 2 favorite spots. Like, I don't necessarily want to sit here and tell you I want to back Paul Skeens, out the wazoo and take the underdog. Like, no, I think that Atlanta's offense at some point could be starting to come along where they scored 5 or 6 runs yesterday. I know they scored 0 before that, but, to me, it's like, I do think Atlanta's the play, not for that price, but the way that we almost play Atlanta to me is by saying that, Max Fried's going to be just as good as Skeens, which ultimately end up at a first 5 under, right? So that's going to be the move for me, first 5 under, as well as a potential play for the Nerfy. And obviously I guess, the overall under, but I like the first 5 a hell of a lot more. But yeah, I don't really have like a clear-cut money line play here. I think for the money and the price, you probably could make a damn good argument for Pittsburgh being plus 140 with Skeens on the mound. But I think the Braves do win this one, so again, price-wise and value-wise, I think the value's on Pittsburgh. I think at the end of the day, the Braves, with the way Fried is pitching, should be the play. But overall, I gave you my 2 more favorite plays in this spot, right? All right, when we start talking Mets baseball, I just have to laugh because I have been, not actual final plays fading, but I have been fading them in terms of my leans. Yesterday we had Houston in the parlay, right? But I have been fading the Mets like you read about, and they just continue to cash, and now they're underdogs yet again today. Excuse me as that was like a burp bubble. I don't even know what that was. Comment bubble if you made it this far into the video. But overall, Tyler McGill on the mound going up against Framber Valdez. A lot is pointing towards taking the Astros anyways, and I'm going to continue to do it because, you know what, I've made a pact with myself. I don't necessarily have to bet it, but I'm not going to hop on this Mets bandwagon and ruin it for everyone else out there. You know that's how it works. If I were to jump on because they've been cashing so much as of late, all of a sudden you'd be like, wait, what the hell? All of a sudden they start to lose because one person jumped on too late. I'm not slowing the train down. Give me Houston on the money line. If the Mets continue to win, good on all y'all, but I just can't get on that bandwagon, and I'm doing that. I'm taking one for the team here. In terms of the total, it's sitting at 8.5. I don't mind a potential play for the over because think about it. You have McGill on the mound who just isn't that great of a pitcher. Framber Valdez has been looking pretty damn good and pitched well, but overall, I think that the way Houston wins this game is competing with the Mets offense. You know what I mean? Like this Mets offense is cooking right now. 7, 12, 9, 5, 11, 1, 7, 14, 11, and then 3 runs in their last 10. Like they've been cooking. And Houston, going into this series or going into yesterday's game, were 14-5, 8-5, 7 in terms of their runs scored, and then they scored 2 yesterday. Give me the over all day long in this one. Zach Gallen is making his return here for Arizona. I think he's been out for like over a month or a month at least, right? Going up against Oakland here. Obviously, even with the odds, right, it's probably a play to go and take a peek at Diamondbacks, but I don't know if I want to, jump into that hole too quickly because we don't necessarily know exactly how good Gallen's going to be, and that's a pretty damn big price tag to pay. So I do lean Arizona, but this isn't even one of those spots where I'm thinking, let's go money line and then take a team total like some of those same game parlays. I probably end up staying away from this one, but I really can't get to Oakland. Oakland, just won 8-4, 9-4, something like that yesterday. It's like, yeah, this is probably a bounce back spot for Arizona. That being said, they've been losing a lot of games lately. They are getting their ace back. So to me, it's an Arizona spot, but I don't think I ultimately end up playing it. I could see looking at an under, though. I think this could be another 4-3, 4-2 type of a spot like I keep talking about. So it's not like a far and away 2-1 type of a prediction here, but 4-3 I could see if Zach Gallen does pitch well. So I'll lean under, but there's a few question marks and a couple wild cards in this game, Zach Gallen being the biggest, that probably keep me off of it with a bunch of other value on the board today. Tampa Bay taking on Washington. Aaron Savali on the mound for Tampa Bay, who, though he's had some shaky numbers this year, he's been pretty damn good at home. He's at home today, going up against Jake Irvin, who has been a better road pitcher than home pitcher this season, and he's having a good year. So to me, we cashed this yesterday. I think we go right back to it. I'm going to take a peek here at the first 5 under, hoping we get some good price there because I like both of these pitchers to be able to perform. In terms of a money line play, I think that it's kind of similar to how I talked about with Pittsburgh and Atlanta. Like, I see a lot of value in taking Washington with Irvin on the mound for plus money. Both these lineups offensively aren't anything to be scared about, so that's probably where I ultimately end up leaning. But overall, I think I like that under more. Like, I almost want neither offense to perform. So I think that's where we're going to go. But I would lean Washington just because they have Irvin on the mound. And like I said, you're looking at a team here that, shouldn't be able to hit him that well and is plus money. So, yeah, I'm going to lean in that direction. I will say Irvin has a little bit of a blemish in his stats here against lefties. Luckily for him, I think there's only 3 lefties in Tampa Bay's lineup today. So hopefully shouldn't be all that tough for him. But, yeah, I think worth noting that he's been really, really good pitcher, on the season, definitely on the road, and against righties. Lefties, he actually pretty damn mediocre. A 1.33 whip, 4.2 FIP, batting average against of 261. That's compared to his batting average against on the road in general at 193. So something to be noted there. But give me the under, Washington as well. But my main play is probably going to be that first 5 under yet again. All right, next up, we're looking at Baltimore taking on Tejas. Baltimore wins, was it 3-1 yesterday, 2-1, something like that. Low-scoring game. Today, I do think, and again, like Scherzer pitch yesterday wasn't really a bad spot for him. I think I think he pitched like 5 2/3, something like that, right? But either way, I think this is a game that flips on its belly today. I like the over here. I'm probably going to lean slightly towards Baltimore as well. Cade Povich is on the mound for Baltimore. He's been shaky to say the least, but he is a little bit more comfortable at home, at least his recent starts would indicate. My one concern is the fact that he really struggles against lefties, and you do have Seager, Lowe, you have a few lefties in this lineup that could be a little shaky here for him, but nonetheless, I think overall the pros outweigh the cons for betting Baltimore, but I like the over in this spot as well. I think this could be like a double-digit game, which it would need to be to cash the over. I think that's going to be the direction that I lean in. All right, San Fran taking on the Dodgers. Yesterday, it was pretty much a pick 'em. Today, we don't have that, and that's most likely, and when I say most likely, definitely because Tyler Glasnow is going on the mound here for the Dodgers, going up against Eric Miller, who I just don't know too much about, nor am I going to try and act like I know much about him. But what I will say is I know the Dodgers can crank lefties, and I know Glasnow's a damn good pitcher, right? So this is probably some sort of a parlay throw-in with a money line play or something like that, because I really can't get to San Francisco today, especially coming off of a loss for the Dodgers. I like that spot for them to be able to go out there and say, hey, we got our ace on the mound, let's bounce back. So, yeah, Dodgers are passed for me. In terms of a total in this one, I don't have the strongest opinion here either, and I'm just being honest with you guys, but I would say an under. I think Glasnow could deal, and hell, Eric Miller could go out there and pitch well too. Like, we've seen the Dodgers be really inconsistent as of late, so give me the Dodgers as well as a slight lean towards the under, but the Dodgers have to be some sort of parlay throw, and I'm not paying minus 200 and beyond for a straight bet, and I don't trust them or love them enough to go with a run line play whatsoever, so probably a game that we don't have much action in tonight. And I just realized as we're looking at the time, we must be flying through these games. So I apologize there. We are battling last night. Me and Paris had a little date night, and we stayed out till today, essentially. So we are flying through this. I apologize for that if we are going too fast. We don't have many player props either, just because late start to the morning, we didn't have, our normal dedicated time. But make sure to keep an eye on the pinned comment. That's where all of our plays and anything else we could be adding might be. But yeah. I realized that we're usually taking like 35 minutes to do these. We have 2 games left, and we're only at 21 minutes. I must be talking a mile a minute. All right, got the Angels taking on the Tigers here. Reese Olson on the mound for the Tigers, going up against Griffin Canning. I would say this is probably a decent spot for the Tigers. This is, I believe, also a 4-game series, so it's not a sweep spot right now, but the Tigers have been struggling offensively. Like, their offense stinks. But Griffin Canning also isn't a guy that I'm going to sit here and try and act like he's good at all, right? So I think you have a pitcher that's just as bad as the Detroit offense, so hopefully they can pull a couple off of him today. Give me the Tigers. I think you're getting a way better pitcher for a decent price, minus 120. Maybe a first 5 play, though. I know that the Tigers do have a bullpen advantage, but I don't want to bet this Tigers team long-term either way. You know what I mean? Like, I might just say first 3 innings money line, something like that. So, yeah, give me the Tigers on the money line. In terms of the total, I have a tough time trying to say let's stick to the under because Canning's on the mound. Reese Olson, I do trust a little bit, but overall, I think I'm going to lean over here. Maybe Tigers team total over if we can get it at like, I don't even know what their team total is. Let's see if we can find that really quick, because their team total has to be super low based on how they've been playing as of late. But you throw in the fact that obviously Canning's on the mound, it can't be all that great. So over 3.5 for minus 140, a little too juicy for me. But, I could see the Tigers scoring 4 runs saying, forget, and who cares what the Angels do, you know what I mean? So, yeah, somehow, some way, I think that that's probably the way that we look at it. All right, Seattle taking on Minnesota. And real quick, let me remind you that the free square over on Sleeper today, if you do sign up, is Pablo Lopez, the pitcher in this spot. So go check out Sleeper, guys. Link in the pinned comment. I gave you the spiel. It's my favorite DFS player prop app out there. Go ahead and check it out. But this game, I think could and should be an interesting one. You got Lopez on the mound for Minnesota going up against Bryce Miller, who's been very good at home for Seattle. This is just a spot where, I feel like a lot of people are off the Pablo Lopez train, and to some degree, it makes a lot of sense, right? But he is coming off a really good start. 8 scoreless innings, 14 strikeouts against Oakland. I understand, but that could be the start that he needed to kind of get back into gear. Whereas Miller, his last few games, not all that great. He does have a couple blanks in there, but he also has a couple games where 7 earned runs through 5 innings, 6 earned runs through 4 innings in his last start against Miami. So I think there's a Pablo Lopez advantage here for sure. And then if you compare offenses, there's no question that this is a better Minnesota offense, right? So this is going to be a spot in which, and Given the fact that it's a bounce back spot, they lost yesterday. Like I like the Twins here backing Pablo Lopez. Best odds right now that you're gonna get are -118, which I think are super fair. I'd almost play this at -130. So this probably has a chance of being a final play for sure. In terms of the total, it's 7.5. I'm telling you right now that I like Pablo Lopez and all that, but 7.5 is still too low. You have two names that are drawing this total down. I don't really get there when it comes to what could actually happen. So I know yesterday's game was 2-3, 3-2. But Minnesota's offense had been cooking. Seattle's offense has been giving you a floor of like 3 runs for 8 straight games. So if they're going to give you a floor of 3, I can't take an under 7.5. So I'll lean slightly towards the over. Guys, not many player props, like I said, so far in today's video. Transparently, like I said, we had a late night and late start to the morning, all that. So I will try and get some player props in the pinned comment. Keep an eye on it. But hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.